Hi, everyone. I'm Lori Sylvia. I am the founder of Rally Recruitment Marketing, and I want to welcome all of you to this product demonstration that's part of our online technology showcase with our Rally Forward virtual conference. And with me today is Courtney Bristow from Glassdoor. Hi, Courtney.
Hi, Lori.
Thanks so much for being here, and thank you also to Glassdoor for being a sponsor of Rally. You guys have been a sponsor from the very beginning of our community and have really been great partners in supporting our educational mission to teach practitioners marketing and branding skills. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Of course. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your role at Glassdoor, and then I think it's also good to give us an update from a company perspective on Glassdoor. I think many of us know Glassdoor. We think we know Glassdoor, maybe we don't. So why don't you tell us more about you and also about Glassdoor?
Great. So this is my 2-year mark actually working at Glassdoor. I'm a senior account executive with new business, and I work out of the Mill Valley office, which is our headquarters. I actually live in San Francisco though, so I'm working from home in the city right now. But it's been a great experience over the past 2 years to work for Glassdoor, and I'm so excited that I took this job 2 years ago back in April. But just to share a little bit of background and context about Glassdoor, Glassdoor was actually founded in 2007 and launched in 2008 with a really unique mission, which is to help people everywhere find a job in a company that they love. So if you think about it historically, you could really only learn what it's like to work at a company if you actually knew somebody who worked at that company. And if you were able to go and ask them directly, hey, what's it like to work at X company? But with the launch of Glassdoor, candidates everywhere were able to quickly and easily find this information in the form of reviews from past and current employees. So Glassdoor today is actually really relevant for candidates no matter what stage you're at in the job search. Whether you're looking for interview questions to help you better prep for an interview you have upcoming, whether you need information on pay and benefits to make sure that potential career is in line with your expectations, or even if you just want to learn about the company culture or the company mission by reading reviews from those past and current employees. But fast forward to today, that mission is now more important than ever. We have more than 60 million people using the site each month, and they're relying on Glassdoor's data to help them find a job in a company that they love. So what's the benefit for employers in all of this? Well, our research actually shows that candidates are doing so much investigating and research when they're on Glassdoor that they're actually becoming more informed. And these informed candidates are actually able to better select roles in companies that are a good fit for them as an individual. What we found is that these informed candidates are actually 2 times more likely to be hired than the average job seeker. And that means it takes your recruitment team about half the amount of resumes to get to a hire, ultimately saving you time and resources. These very same informed candidates were also found to have 30% greater retention rates compared to the average job seeker. And as we know right now, candidates around the world are sitting at home, working from home, or even out of work completely. And these candidates actually have more time than ever to research companies and jobs from their homes. So this is making it especially critical right now for companies to maintain their employer brand.
That's a great point. People think of Glassdoor as the site for employer reviews, but really it's the number one candidate research site for looking at employers and trying to learn about their culture and what it's really like to work there. And then, of course, their job opportunities. So you're right. And there's lots of people who, unfortunately, are looking for jobs right now. And that's why I think it's more important than ever for employers to really tell their employer brand story well, not just on their career site, but across all of their social channels and their employer profiles, including Glassdoor. So I'm so excited that you guys are here to present as part of our technology showcase and really help our audience learn how they can take advantage of the opportunities that are available on Glassdoor to tell their employer brand story. So why don't we kick off the demo then? And I'll ask you the same question that I've been asking the other participants, which is, how does your solution help employers lead with their employer brand to create a recruiting advantage, not only today, but of course, moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that Glassdoor really helps employers with this in three key ways. Number one, by increasing engagement among informed candidates. So, if you're an employer, this is how you can actually make sure that candidates who are already coming to your Glassdoor page are engaged with the content they're reading and ultimately gain enough interest in your company. The second way we help is by converting Glassdoor job seekers to applicants and ultimately to hires. So if you're an employer, this is how you can really make sure that you're leading the right candidates to that next step, which really is to hit the apply now button if they're a relevant candidate and the job makes sense for them. And the third way we're helping is we're really helping companies gain more employer brand awareness. So I know a lot of small companies may not have the strongest employer brand right now. So the question really becomes, how can we cast a wider net and get even more candidates who are actively searching for a job to find out about our company and to learn more about who we are? And that's really going to be important right now as we have a lot of new people looking for jobs. We want to make sure more people are aware of your employer brand. So it's super critical to cast that wider net. Every single one of these pieces is really important, especially right now, as candidates are really looking to companies to see how they're responding to this pandemic. And companies should really strive to set a good example by leading with both transparency and empathy.
Yeah, important points. And this has been part of the theme of the conference, and the great speakers that we've had presenting at Rally Forward have really echoed what you've just said. Now more than ever, candidates are going to be looking to see how employers are treating their employees and responding during this crisis. And I think the reviews and the other information that's going to be coming forward through the Glassdoor profile is going to tell a lot about about a company. So you mentioned, Courtney, that one of the things that you guys do really well is really educating candidates about careers and about employers. And as a result, you're very informed. So can you tell us more about that? How does your solution help employers increase engagement with this pool of informed candidates?
Yeah, absolutely. So Glassdoor really increases engagement among those informed candidates by giving the employer more control over their employer brand and really just allowing companies to share compelling and relevant information with their candidates. So to answer your question a little better, I'll actually show you an example of both an unbranded profile and a branded profile on Glassdoor for comparison. But just a little context here, most companies are eligible to have a free Glassdoor profile. And that consists of those reviews and those data points that candidates love to see and to use when they're searching for and applying to jobs. However, if companies do want to take their employer branding to the next level, they can invest in a Glassdoor branding solution. So Vandelay Industries is a fictional company used for Glassdoor demonstration purposes, but this is an example of a free unbranded profile. So as we scroll through the page, what we can see is that reviews pretty much tell the entire employer brand story here. Other than these 60 reviews, there's really not a whole lot as a candidate that I'm learning about this organization. So what that means is that if I don't read about the company's culture or benefits or comp structure or anything else that's important to me as an individual candidate, somewhere in these 60 reviews, that's information that I'm ultimately leaving Glassdoor without. So at the end of the day, companies with unbranded profiles are ultimately relying on reviews to tell their entire brand story on Glassdoor. And it's definitely possible that some important things could be left out. But I wanted to show you a comparison. ATJ is also a fictional company, but this is an example of a branded profile. So what you can see as we scroll through the page just right away is that reviews are no longer telling the full story. There's a lot of additional content here that actually wasn't available on the Vandelay Industries page. So just to start at the very top with the cover image, this is going to be one of the first things that candidates see when they come to your profile. And this is a great place to share a video or even highlight company awards. I see a lot of great companies actually embed recent awards they've won right at the top in the cover image, again, because it's the first thing that candidates are going to see.
Yeah, I've seen that too, by the way.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a great use of this, and you can really design it to work however makes the most sense for you as an organization. But as we scroll down the page a little bit further, we get to the company updates. So this is a great section, especially right now, to share things that are currently happening within your organization, but also within the community and right now the world. So as you can see with ATJ, just like a lot of Glassdoor companies, they're actually currently using their company updates to talk about the pandemic and the company's response. As we scroll down even further, we get to the Why Work With Us section. So this section actually allows you to build out 5 custom tabs where you can actually speak directly to your candidates and let them know why your company is a great place to work. So for ATJ, they chose to focus on their story, their culture, how they're a collaborative team, their leadership, and then they also have a tab about technology. But again, these 5 tabs are completely customizable. So depending on who you are and what makes your company so unique, you can actually design these tabs to highlight those things. As we go back up a little bit further, you'll see the social media integration here on the right-hand side as well. So this is where I can get more real-time information about what's currently happening today from both their Facebook and their Twitter feeds. So it's just a way for me to further engage with this organization, follow them on social media, and just stay up to date with them.
Just to pause there for a second, I mean, one of the things that I've seen more and more people in the Raleigh community do is really treating Glassdoor like another social channel. I mean, it's great that you have the integration with their other social channels on the right, but those company updates are becoming part of a practitioner's content plan, basically. And it's great because it's taking advantage of this opportunity to really get your message out there and not just let others speak about you, but you speak about your company.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really taking the ownership away from just the reviews and putting it back onto the employer to really highlight exactly what they want candidates to know about them.
Yeah, great.
But I wanted to just, have us imagine really quick that we're actually a candidate right here. So let's say that I'm a software engineer and I'm interested in working at ATJ. So I might do some quick research about the company, ultimately land on their Glassdoor page. And there's probably a couple things I'll do before applying to a job. Number one, I might watch the video, learn about their history, learn about their mission. Now I'm even more engaged. Their mission really relates to my beliefs, and I want to learn even more about ATJ. As I scroll through the page, I'm seeing that they're actively promoting their COVID-19 response. That makes me feel really good as a candidate. I feel like this company is empathetic and they're also really transparent. They're letting me know how they're responding to the current situation. As I scroll down even further and go to the Why Work With Us, I might see this tab about technology, which really is exciting for me as a software engineer because I'm seeing that technology is super important and critical to this company. So I know that my role is going to be a key role at this organization. But ultimately, when I do get to the jobs, I might find that they don't actually have a job that's relevant for me right now, or maybe like a lot of companies, they aren't currently hiring. So what I can do is go to the very top and hit this follow button. And now I can stay up to date with ATJ. I can see anytime they post an update. I can learn about once they do start hiring again and which roles they add. And ultimately, I'm much more engaged and I'm actually following everything that this company does on Glassdoor. And now our data shows that these branded profiles receive on average 23% more followers on Glassdoor month over month compared to the free profile that we looked at with Vandelay Industries.
Wow.
So here you can see that the branding does directly impact candidate engagement with your organization.
And just being active too, I think, in using this as a channel to communicate with candidates. I mean, again, this is a trend that I'm seeing is that more and more practitioners, when they're thinking about all of their recruiting channels and growing their followers and growing engagement, like Glassdoor is now part of that. It's part of that overall strategy. And I can see why, because of all of the rich information and content that they're able to build into this profile.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Courtney, okay, great. I get to their profile and I'm learning more about the company and I'm interested and I can follow, which is fantastic. I'm just curious, when the company then sends updates, like as a job seeker, do I receive information about the companies that I follow?
Yeah, exactly. So following a company on Glassdoor is basically like subscribing to a blog post. You're going to get up-to-date information anytime a new review is posted, anytime they add jobs. So again, it's really a great way as a candidate, if you're interested in an organization, to stay up to date and to stay informed and to learn about new opportunities in real time as they post them.
This is also a great alternative to a traditional talent network, in that just because I know that there are some teams that don't have email capability set up with whatever tools they might be using. And so they want to capture candidate information, but then like they don't ever communicate with them. um, but this is a way that they can, is that they can leverage their Glassdoor profile to provide their updates as well as their jobs. And then, as you say, those candidates that are following you are going to automatically receive that information. So it's like ongoing nurture for all of your interested candidates.
Exactly. Yeah. And actually, through the Employer Center, you can track a month over month how many followers you're getting. And you can also look in more depth at the demographics of those followers, the job titles they're interested in, and some really cool information like that, just to get a sense of ultimately who's interested in your organization.
Yeah. So more insight about who, which is ultimately going to help us better target our candidate personas.
Exactly.
Um, and so you mentioned jobs, because I know obviously this is an opportunity to promote your jobs. So how do employers use Glassdoor to convert all of this job seeker interest into applicants and then ultimately into hires?
Yeah, great question. So ultimately, the Glassdoor solution really just increases conversion by making it really simple and easy for candidates to apply to the right roles. I think anyone in recruiting realizes that the more steps it takes somebody to apply to your job, the more drop off you're going to see with those candidates. So if you take a look, just again, comparing the two pages at the Vandelay Industries page, again, let's put ourselves back in the shoes of a job seeker, and I'm interested in working at Vandelay Industries. Maybe I heard about them from a friend and I want to check out their jobs. So for this example, I'm going to be me. I live in San Francisco and I work in sales and customer success. So as I'm scrolling through the Vandelay Industries page, what I'm seeing under the Jobs You May Like tab are actually not jobs for Vandelay Industries. That's because, again, this is an unbranded profile. So what you can see here is that Glassdoor is actually essentially spoon feeding me positions that are really relevant for me as an individual. All of these companies are in San Francisco. These are all account executive or customer success roles. So I'm actually finding jobs in companies that are of great interest to me. But again, they aren't for Vandelay Industries. So this could potentially pull me off of the Vandelay page. Going back to the ATJ example though, same exact scenario. I'm looking for jobs at ATJ. I'm really interested in this company. Once I go to their Jobs You May Like, I'm actually now only seeing jobs available at this organization. So it's actually a big difference here because I'm now no longer seeing those distractions. There's nothing else that could potentially pull me off of ATJ's page. So my engagement increases and ultimately my conversion increases as well. So let's say I find a job here I'm really interested in and I click on it before I even read anything else on the profile. The way Glassdoor job ads work is they actually integrate all of that same great employer branding into every single job post as well. So not only am I seeing the job description and the qualifications, but I can see all that great data that makes Glassdoor really a unique place to search for jobs. I can learn about the company. I can see what they've been rated across different areas of the business, learn about potential salary ranges, learn what benefits they offer. And then that same Why Work For Us section that we saw on the page is going to be attached to every single job as well. So again, I can dive in and learn more about the company culture. I can see what a fun place to work this looks like. There's a giant Connect 4 board on the page here. So I can see that this looks like a company that has great work-life balance, which could be super critical to me as a candidate. Now I'm much more engaged, I'm much more interested. And again, it's so easy for me to just apply to this job right here and now. And what our data shows is that Glassdoor branded profiles actually receive 6 times more apply starts per job on average. So the simplicity, the ease, and also the content associated with each job increases conversion quite a lot.
Wow, that's a really powerful stat. As a marketer, I think we're all trying to increase conversion rate, which is really just trying to improve the results and effectiveness of everything that we do. And I can see how a job description that's all text-based is not very enticing and not giving a candidate all the information that they might need in order to go ahead and decide to apply. But the way that all the content is pulled together here about the employer is definitely influencing that candidate's decision. It makes total sense. And then
Yeah.
when they click that apply, it's pulling in their Glassdoor profile. So they probably don't have to fill out like a lot of application information.
Exactly. So this job ad is set up with Easy Apply, which, just like you said, you can apply with a resume that you've already uploaded to Glassdoor, or it can use some of the information that you've input when you created your free user account. So it's a really quick and easy process for candidates. And again, it helps with that scenario of reducing drop off. You know, the more hurdles you add for a candidate to actually apply to a job, the less likely they are to get to that final step.
Yeah. Removing the friction really in that candidate experience is really key. I see more and more employers just moving to short form, easy apply, and the fact that it's like built in here will just help increase your applicant flow. So this is really interesting. And you mentioned before, just in general, like supporting employers from a brand awareness perspective. Can you share a little bit more about that? Because, and also for companies of all sizes, because I know that it's not just the largest companies that have one of these profiles, these enhanced profiles on Glassdoor. It's also the smaller companies do that as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So I typically do work with small to medium sized companies. So these are the majority of conversations I'm having every day. I'm not working with a giant organization that everybody knows. So employer brand awareness is super critical for, you know, everybody, whether you're on a billboard across every freeway or whether you're a really small startup and people haven't heard the company name yet. A lot of these tools that we've looked at so far are great if you already have people coming to your page. But the question is, how can we actually cast that wider net and get more new candidates who don't know about you to come to your page? So one element that's included in the Glassdoor branded profile is something called competitor targeting ads. And what this allows you to do is actually target 5 to 10 non-partnered profiles on Glassdoor. So the thought here is that you want to target competitors with similar hiring needs to your own. And I'll share an example with you. Again, going back to ATJ, this is a branded profile, so they have this tool. Right now, they're actually targeting Vandelay Industries. So as I scroll through the Vandelay page, here on the right-hand side, I'm seeing that ad for ATJ. It says companies to explore, and I'm actually being fed 2 positions that they're currently hiring for. So again, just putting ourselves in the candidate's shoes, I'm still interested in Vandelay. I'm looking at a job at this organization, but at the very top, I'm noticing that they're actually not hiring right now, just like a lot of companies. But I'm out of work. I really need to find a job. So I'm going to keep exploring my options. And what I'm seeing on the right-hand rail of the page is that ATJ is hiring. And they're actually hiring the same exact role I was interested in applying to at Vandelay. I had never heard of ATJ before seeing this ad, or maybe I didn't realize that they were hiring right now. Now I'm going to actually click off the Vandelay page and look at one of these jobs at ATJ. So just because of this ad, ATJ is now successfully attracting brand new talent to their page. Again, people who may have not known about them before or just didn't realize that they were hiring for these particular roles. And what we see is that these Glassdoor branded profiles actually receive up to a 50% lift in page views on average.
Mm.
So
Wow.
ultimately, this is really going to help pull that new traffic and those new people to your page to learn more about you.
I think also one of the things that I'm seeing with a branded profile is I know a lot of teams sort of struggle with their career site. Many of them don't have a career site. It's like a career page, and they're looking for ways to really tell their story, but they may not have control over the company career site. They may not have a great relationship with the marketing team or IT team, and so it's tough. And so their page literally might just be a listing of jobs. But here it's like if you're going to invest in trying to tell your story, you can do that through your branded profile, and you already have the audience there. It's already attracting the audience that you want to reach. So it makes sense, like if you're trying to increase your brand awareness, this is a great place to start. Yes, and of course eventually to boost your own career page, but that you need to drive traffic to. In this case, it already has, I think you said 60 million people, is it a month or something?
Yeah, that's our monthly average.
Yeah, which is crazy, crazy good. And I like also the fact that you can try to strategically recruit, in essence, from employers that potentially are attracting talent. How does that work? Like if you pick five and everybody picks the same five, how does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if you do pick a company with a lot of traffic, it is likely that another Glassdoor partner might have already chosen them as well. So in that instance, there'll just be an arrow right here. You can click through the different companies to explore ad, and Glassdoor will actually rotate which ad it shows first. So every company basically has a chance to have their ad be the first one shown here at some point.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. This is great. I've learned some new things about the branded profile of Glassdoor. So, and I'm sure some folks in our community learned some new bits as well. So thank you so much for sharing this demo with us.
Of course. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me.
And Courtney, if people want to learn more about how to take advantage of one of these branded profiles, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
Yeah, so number one, if you do know who your sales rep is, maybe you've already gotten an email or a cold call from them before, definitely reach out to them. If they're no longer your rep, they can definitely connect you to the right person. If you don't know who your rep is, that's totally okay. You can either go to glassdoor.com/employers, or we have an 888 number you can call. So that's 888-355-9323.
Sounds great. Well, thank you again so much. I really enjoyed having you here today, Courtney.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you, Lori. It was great to be here and to share a little bit about Glassdoor.
Thanks again. Take care.
You too.